solving one-step inequalities, and this is just a review from what we did last week. That way we can start into two steps and then into graphing. So let's remember our objective when we look at one-step inequalities. We want to solve one-step inequalities using the four properties that we know that we have that come with inequalities. The first two properties that we have are addition and subtraction. And remember, when we have addition, here's an example problem for you. We have x minus 15 is less than 73. So even though we have a subtraction sign in there, I know that the x by itself, I'm going to have to add 15 to each side. And when we do that, we get x is less than 88. Now remember, when we have just the less than sign, our circle is open, and if we are to graph this, it's going to be a dotted line. X cannot equal 88, it is everything that is less than 88. Additionally, we have subtraction, and remember, this one's a little bit opposite of that. We're going to have to add 15 to each side, and we're going to get that negative 40, or positive 40, sorry. Then we have our multiplication and division properties. And with this one, usually we're going to see it, and it's going to be set up in a fraction. So we have x over 5 is greater than 10. So to get x by itself, we need to do our opposite, which is multiplying it, and when we do that, x is greater than 50. Conversely, we have the same thing with division, and this time our variable is being multiplied by 5, so we're going to have to divide by 5. And when we do that, we see that x is greater than 4. Now again, with both of these, all we have is a greater than, there's no equal to, open circles, dashed lines. Now remember though, that when we multiply or divide with a negative number, that our signs are actually going to flip. So had this been a negative 5, our sign is going to flip at the end, and x is going to be less than 4. Alright, now, this is just a review from things that we've done last week in class, so let's try some of these on our own. So our first one, x plus 6 is less than 7. What kind of property are we going to have to use here? What do we need to do to get x by itself?
Subtract 6.
Subtract 6. Very good. So we're going to use our subtraction property here. And when we do that, what do we get? X is less than 1. Very good. Now on this next one, I want you guys just to tell me what property do you think we have to do? What do we do to get x by itself? Add 5 to both sides. So what property is that? Addition. Same with our next one. If I'm multiplying by negative 3x, so we have negative 3 there, what am I going to have to do to get x by itself? Divide by 3, and we have a what kind of number? Negative. So what happens to my sign again? We got to flip it. Very good. And on the bottom, what do we think we need to do? Add 9. Very good. So addition. Once again, we have a 1/2 x multiplying by 1/2. So the opposite is to divide. Very good. Now on our next one, we're dividing by negative 7. So the opposite is to multiply. And again, with that negative number, we have to very good, switch the signs. And then lastly, we have that x divided by 3. So again, I'm dividing. The opposite is to multiply. Very good. So we know that we have our multiplication there. So what I want you guys to do now that we know what properties that we're using, go through those problems that we just worked on, and I want you guys to send in your answers to our Pull Everywhere app that we have. Now remember, we're going to text it to this number, and today, what we're going to use for our password is up here for you. So that very first one in your message, you're going to have our password and what your answer is for the solution. So go ahead and pull out your phones and do that. And once you're done, go ahead and just sit your cell phone down on the table. That way I know you finished. All right, so let's see what some of our answers are. All right, there we go. So for our first one, we had 3 answers that came in. We have, I'm guessing we had x is greater than 1 here. We have x is less than 1, and then another x is greater than 1. Now remember, if we go back to our original problem, what do we have to do to get x by itself? Subtract 6. Now is that 6, we're not multiplying or dividing by anything, right? So did our sign need to flip? No. So we didn't need to flip our sign. So actually our second answer, x is less than 1, was the answer that we were looking for. All right. Now if we go back to our notes that we have, Remember, our useful friend in our math class is our Khan Academy, and we can go online and we can find videos for anything. So later tonight, when you guys have your homework assignment, if you get confused and the Prezi doesn't help or your notes don't help, you can't find the right examples, remember we have our Khan Academy that we can use. Just go straight to YouTube and go to One Step Inequalities. All right? Any questions? All right, thank you.